The character Maya Hansen is um, a scientist of genius, arguably on par with that of Tony Stark's, and is a figure in Tony Stark's history, and has some significant bearing on the plot of the present. Yeah, well, it's definitely uh, something approximating intimidating coming into a very well established franchise with a group of people who you know so well what they're getting into and what they're doing by the time number three comes along. Um, but I have to say that all of that was dissipated very quickly because everyone involved in it was very warm and welcoming, and likes to encourage the newbies, as it were, because that's part of making more of these films is you get new people on board. It was really thrilling actually walking on set for the first time on this because there's so much there's so much machinery behind it as well. I mean, a film set is ultimately a film set because everything reduces down to the simple moment when you're standing in front of a camera and someone says action. So ultimately, everything boils down to that moment where you have to, do your job or run for the hills. But there was something particularly thrilling about this set just because of the sheer enormity of the effects and the amount of people on the set and green screens and all the rest of it. Not to mention the fact that so many of the sets and looks of these movies are already now iconic, and I know from watching the first one in the cinema what Tony Stark's house looks like. So when you're actually confronted with walking onto it, it's quite surreal and exciting. Well, Iron Man is it's a boy heavy movie. I mean, it's called Iron Man, so it's the girl character. But that it would be no fun if there were no girl characters at all. So it's and I do think one of the strengths of these films is that the women are written pretty well and unusually. They're not just sort of carriers that run around screaming and shouting. They're kind of and saying "save me, save me." They're not just victims. They tend to be quite smart and sassy and together, which is one of the reasons it appealed to me. And one of the reasons you get actresses like Gwyneth Paltrow doing it. I was the thing with Robert Downey is that he's every bit as quick witted and sharp as Tony Stark is. So that that comes from him. That's not really a sort of trope of the comic book even necessarily. It's very much him, um, and there is a sense with him that he encourages you to sort of get on board and jump on his train of being spontaneous and improvising and all the rest of it. And what makes him a great improviser is not the fact that he comes up with sort of zinging lines, but the fact that he feeds lines to his fellow actors and he listens. So if you want to jump in and start playing with him, he allows that. And which I did. And you have to sort of, you have to put up a bit of a fight. Otherwise, the whole thing can go so fast that you're left sort of going, oh, did I get my line out? But but I've got to say, I really enjoyed it. I was thrilled by that, and I love the opportunity to spar with him a bit, and it's quite exciting walking that tightrope of feeling like we've gone completely off text and we don't know where we're going, and we're just going to keep going until someone calls cut.